So at the beginning of the summer, we'd taken the boat out and noticed that the engine started to lose power. So I didn't know where to start at the beginning. I thought, well, it's been in storage for about 6 months, so it's probably got a fuel tank full of bad gas and a lot of water. So I got the boat home and found a way to connect the fuel line to a little automotive fuel pump, and started to siphon out all the gas out of the boat. Alright, so about 40 gallons into it. Fire extinguisher for safety. That battery's holding out. I got an umbrella for shade, and the little pump is pumping away. About 20 gallons left. Then I'll change out some filters. So next, after siphoning close to 60 gallons of fuel out of the boat, I went ahead and started changing all my fuel filters and water separators. So it rains every day in Florida, but as I wait out the rain, I've changed out the fuel filter in the engine, water separator. Just want to give a shout out to these pans. These pans, I go to the dollar store or Dollar General, $1.25. I get a boatload of those pans, no pun intended. But I get a bunch of them, and you can see they're very handy in holding tools or maybe nuts and bolts that come off the engine you're working on. So just want to throw that out there. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks, got the tools back out, and I still have my sputtering problem. So I got a new, that's called a high pressure fuel pump, and what they call a VST filter change kit. VST is a vapor separator tank, and the vapor separator tank is behind this. So I'm going to have to take this off. I'm going to take my fuel injectors out. This manifold will come off, and the VST will be back there, and once I get to that point, I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, kind of move things in the shed here. There's sort of the manifold. There's the bottom portion of the VST. There's the top portion with my float. So here's the old pump and filter, and there's the new filter. You can kind of see, I can see through that. This filter here is I can't really see, it's gummed up, so I'm really hoping that was causing my sputter issue. So I'm going to put the new filter on this pump. The pump goes on there, and that will go back into there. Then I'll put everything back together and run it, see it happens. So as a kind of a side project, since I was doing so much other work on the boat, I had a leak in my steering actuator. So since I was doing so much engine maintenance, I decided to go ahead and tackle the steering problem as well. Today's festivities is my steering actuator. So it goes, it's right in there, kind of doing it blind, so hopefully you can see it right in here. These are sort of stoppers to keep the engine from flopping over when in storage. But yeah, so the steering actuator is it leaks so bad that when I put fluid in it, it leaks almost overnight. So I guess after 10 years the seals just could no longer hold out. So we'll get that swapped out today. Alright, so I got the old actuator out. Had to buy a bearing puller. And what should only take a couple of wrenches is now taking almost my entire tool set. But there's the new one there. And before I go putting it in, I'm going to clean out because it's really nasty under there from all the leakage. So hopefully in about another 4 hours I should have it in. So we are testing out the boat, sort of like fourth time is a charm here. Had numerous issues starting way back in the summertime. We learned that the engine was losing power. Almost got stranded in the Gulf, which was pretty scary, but as you've seen in the video I just put, there's a lot of parts we changed out, and finally threw in the towel and took it to a professional. Went to Portside Marine here in Orlando, and yeah, I'll show you what they diagnosed and narrowed it down to, and so far we're just doing trial runs. We're going to throttle up probably at least 50 times, and then just do a bunch of forward reverse, put this engine to the test, and then see if we call it good. Alrighty. Alright, so I ended up changing up some spark plugs, cleaned out my anti-siphon valve, checked the fuel line from the fuel tank to the engine, and then after I did the spark plug change, I ran the engine. I was running it idle, and after about 5 minutes the engine just stopped and wouldn't start up again. So I threw in the towel and took it over to Portside Marine, and I gave them my whole list of what I did, and they said it was going to be a week. Well, within 3 days they called me back and said, hey, we figured out the problem. Primer bulb was shot. I guess it wasn't holding fuel pressure. Fuel pressure was leaking out of it. They swapped the bulb, and we just got back from the lake, and boy, the boat worked fine. So hats off to Portside Marine. Thanks, folks.